Hey, I'm Brian from IFA 2017, and just before the show, Google announced that they were going to be opening up the Google Assistant API for manufacturers to use in their own devices. So we can now get other Assistant devices than just the Google Home. And at IFA, we of course got the first flood of devices with the Assistant built in. Some speakers and TVs. Let's start with the speakers. What they all have in common is that they have the distinct 2 microphone array that the Google Home has too, and they all have 4 lights, though on all of the speakers that we checked out, they're in a row and not in a circular pattern like on the Google Home. Panasonic showed off their GA10, which has more of an angular shape and actually pretty good sound. Anker showed off the Zolo Mojo. Hey Google!
Your device isn't set up yet. To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
Which is a more affordable and smaller Google Assistant speaker.
The mic is muted. The mic's back on.
It will be much cheaper than the Google Home, but it of course also isn't as well built and the speaker isn't as good. There will also be a version of the Zolo Mojo that will have a battery, so you can carry around your Google Assistant speaker. The small speaker is probably aimed to compete with the likes of the Amazon Echo Dot. Now the speaker that we got to spend the most time with was Sony's LFS50G. Now, horrible naming aside, it's actually a pretty good speaker. The design reminds me very much of Apple's HomePod, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It looks pretty stylish. At the top you have the standard 2 microphone array for Google Assistant that I talked about before, and on the front the 4 lights to tell you that it's listening. You also have a display that displays the current time and the volume level, and at the top you have a circular ring that lights up when you perform gestures. The whole speaker can be controlled with these gestures. You can wave to skip tracks and point your finger at the speaker and spin it around to increase or decrease the volume. The whole Google Assistant experience is basically the same as on the Google Home. All the commands work, and it's just the same Google Assistant experience you've come to know from Google's Air Refresher. All of the Google Assistant speakers are of course also Chromecast compatible, so you can use them in a multi-room environment together with other Chromecast-enabled speakers or Chromecast audio devices. And they can of course be used to control your Chromecast-enabled TV. Speaking of TVs, Sony also showed us a TV with the Google Assistant built in, where you can press a button on the remote to talk to the Assistant. And having the interface on the TV for the Assistant to show you certain things related to the questions you asked is really nice. It can, for example, show you the weather forecast for the next few days, or show you pictures that you asked for, or even video. And that relates to the normal things that you would of course do with voice control on a TV, which is searching for movies and TV shows, which works pretty well, even inside third-party apps. This overall seems like one of the best and least cumbersome approaches at TV voice control that we have seen. Now as for pricing for the aforementioned speakers, you can look at something along the lines of $200 or also €200. Now that's a little more expensive than the Google Home, but if the style suits you and the speakers are a lot better, that may be worth it to you. And it's overall just good that this is now an open system with lots of options. If you enjoyed this video, you know there are 1 or 2 buttons you can press, and you should also press that follow button on Twitter to stay updated. I'm Brian from IFA 2017. I would like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.